"Here's $1,000, the CEO said, slipping the bills into her trembling hand. "Just hold my hand for 5 minutes, pretend I'm not alone." He thought he was buying a moment of peace. He never imagined he was about to buy back his soul. The night was colder than it should have been for Los Angeles in November. The city lights blinked against the dark sky, but Ethan Cole, the 34-year-old CEO of Cole Enterprises, didn't notice them. His world had shrunk to the glowing screen of his phone, full of hollow congratulations. His company had just closed a billion-dollar merger. Everyone was calling him a genius. But inside, he felt nothing. Success had become noise, empty, loud, and meaningless. His luxury sedan glided to a stop near a park. He told his driver to leave. "I need some air," he muttered. The driver hesitated but obeyed. Ethan stepped out, feeling the cold wind hit his face. For the first time that day, he could breathe. But the silence around him was crushing. The loneliness was a physical weight. As he walked along the dim park path, he saw a girl sitting on a worn bench near a flickering streetlight. Her head was bent, her fingers wrapped around a paper cup. Her clothes were old but clean, her face hidden beneath a loose hood. A cardboard sign beside her read, "Just trying to eat today." He might have walked past her, like everyone else, but something about her stillness caught him. She wasn't begging, she wasn't calling out, she just sat there quietly, as if waiting for someone to remember she existed. Ethan stopped. Their eyes met. Hers were soft brown, with that deep tiredness of someone who'd seen too much for her age. "How much do you make in a day?" he asked suddenly. She blinked. "Depends on people's kindness," she said softly. "Some days, nothing." He reached into his pocket, pulled out his wallet, and took out a thick fold of bills. "Here's $1,000, he said, his voice trembling for reasons he didn't understand. "I just need you to hold my hand for 5 minutes." Her eyes widened, suspicious. "What? No, not like that," he said quickly, his tone breaking. I don't want anything else. I haven't felt a human touch in a long time." For a moment, the world stopped. She looked at him, the expensive suit, the watch, the sadness he couldn't hide. Then, slowly, she nodded. He sat beside her, his hand trembling as he reached for hers. Her palm was cold, rough, small in his grasp. And just like that, the noise in his head quieted. For the first time in years, Ethan felt something real. They sat in silence, just holding hands under the weak glow of the streetlight. He felt a tear slide down his cheek. He didn't know why. She didn't ask. When the 5 minutes ended, he stood up. "Thank you," he whispered. She gave a small nod. "You look like you needed it more than I did." He wanted to say something, ask her name, offer more help, but something stopped him. Maybe pride, maybe fear. He turned and walked away. But that night, when he got home to his cold penthouse, her words echoed in his head until dawn. Her name was Lila Carter, 23 years old. She used to be a nursing student, until her mother got sick and the bills piled up. One hospital stay, one job loss, and one eviction later, Lila found herself sleeping in shelters, then finally on that park bench. But she never begged. She painted small cards, sold them on the street, and helped other homeless women at a nearby center whenever she could. The $1,000 Ethan gave her felt unreal. She used some to buy food for others, not just herself. It wasn't about money, it was about dignity. For the first time in months, she felt visible. A week later, as she helped at a small community clinic, she saw a headline flash on a TV screen. Cole Enterprises CEO collapses during meeting, stress and exhaustion blamed. Her heart skipped. The name, Ethan Cole, rang a bell. The sad man on the bench. Without thinking, she asked the nurse where the hospital was. When she arrived, security stopped her at the door of the private ward. "He's not seeing visitors." But as she turned to leave, Ethan's assistant, Daniel, recognized her. He had seen her once through the tinted car window that night. Something in him hesitated. Then he said quietly, "Come with me." Inside the sterile room, Ethan lay pale and weak. Machines beeped softly. His eyes flickered open when he heard her voice. "You shouldn't have come," he said faintly. She smiled. "You shouldn't have collapsed." He let out a weak laugh. "Guess I forgot how to live." Lila sat beside him, holding his hand again, the same way she had that night. And just like before, his heartbeat steadied. Over the next few weeks, she visited often. They talked. About small things, about pain, about survival. Ethan told her about losing his parents young, about building an empire to fill the void. She told him about her dreams of nursing and how she wanted to help people heal, even when she couldn't heal herself. He started smiling again. She started dreaming again, but she didn't tell him that she still slept in the shelter. She didn't want pity. One day, he asked her, "Why do you keep coming back?" She said, "Because sometimes, people just need someone to hold their hand again." That line broke something open in him. He realized he wasn't saving her, she was saving him. Ethan recovered quickly, but his thoughts stayed tangled around one truth: he couldn't stop thinking about Lila. She had no agenda, no greed, no mask. In a world that worshipped money, she was the first person who didn't flinch when he had none to give. He offered her a job at his company, not out of charity, but because she had a quiet strength that inspired him. She hesitated but accepted. "Only if I earn it," she said. Her job started as an assistant in the outreach department. She was awkward at first. Corporate life was new, but her compassion turned every meeting into something human. She treated everyone from janitors to executives with the same warmth. Soon, the office buzzed with something Ethan hadn't felt in years: genuine kindness. But the world doesn't forgive easily. Rumors began to swirl. The CEO hired a street girl, whispered some. "He's lost it." At a gala, an investor sneered, "Ethan, you're letting pity cloud your judgment. That girl will ruin your image." Ethan clenched his jaw. "She's not ruining my image," he said calmly. "She's rebuilding my soul." Lila overheard. That night, she packed her small bag. She couldn't bear to be the reason he was mocked. She left a note on his desk: "You don't need me anymore. But thank you for seeing me when no one else did." When Ethan found the note the next morning, panic surged through him. He searched the city for her, parks, shelters, streets, until finally, he found her sitting under the same streetlight where they'd first met. "You think I helped you," he said breathlessly, "but you helped me remember how to live. I don't want to lose that again." Lila looked at him, tears shining. "Then don't." That night, he didn't give her money. He just sat beside her again, holding her hand. This time, both of them were trembling, for the right reasons. Year later, the world saw something it didn't expect. Cole Enterprises launched a foundation, hand in hand, dedicated to helping homeless individuals rebuild their lives through education and medical care. Its co-founder, Lila Carter. News outlets called her the girl who held the CEO's hand and changed his life. But behind the headlines was something far more beautiful: two broken people who chose to heal each other. Lila used her salary to finish nursing school. Ethan visited the shelters, personally helping others the way she once helped him. Together, they built programs for women and children, for veterans, for anyone forgotten by the world. One evening, during a charity event, Ethan stood on stage and looked at her in the crowd. "A year ago," he said, voice thick with emotion, "I gave someone $1,000 to hold my hand. I thought I was buying comfort. But that moment bought me something I never had: peace." The crowd was silent. Lila's eyes filled with tears. After the applause faded, he walked to her. "Lila," he said softly, "the truth is, I don't want you to hold my hand because I'm lonely anymore. I want you to hold it because we're in this together." She smiled through tears. "You sure you can handle a girl from the streets?" He smiled back. "That girl taught me what real wealth is." And as they stood under the lights, holding hands again, this time without fear, without shame, the crowd saw not a CEO and a homeless girl, but two souls that had found home in each other. Because sometimes, all it takes to change a life, is the courage to reach out and hold someone's hand. Sometimes, it's not money people need, it's someone who sees them. One small act of kindness can change a life, and maybe even save yours. If this story touched your heart, don't scroll away, share it, spread kindness, and subscribe to Kindness Vibes for more true stories that remind us what being human really means.